Good evening to all the students. We are back with the revisionary live lectures for financial management. And today we would be revising the chapter of operating leverage. Okay? Yeah, good evening to all. So let me first just share my screen. Is my screen visible to you all? Can you just see a blank slide जिसमें सिर्फ चैप्टर का नाम ही लिखा है और कुछ नहीं लिखा है? Why am I not able to read the chats? Okay, so yes, let's begin. Tell me, students, what do you mean by leverage? You have already studied this chapter in detailed form in your live virtual lectures. Screen visible. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Tell me, students, type in the chat box what is the simple meaning of the term leverage? What do you all understand by the term leverage? I'm waiting for your response. Tech team, I'm not able to see the chats in the chat box. Or I guess they are not replying, maybe. Anyways, leverage in a simple term, it means risk. Risk in the business. Now, as far as financial management is concerned, risk in company's finance or risk in the company is due to presence of fixed cost. Is due to presence of fixed cost. इस चैप्टर में हम सिर्फ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट की बात कर रहे हैं. रिस्क ड्यू टू प्रेजेंस ऑफ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट इज कॉल्ड लेवरेज. सर ये फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट रिस्क कैसे हुआ? कैन आई से इन एब्सेंस ऑफ सेल्स, इवन दो यू आर नॉट मेकिंग सेल्स, यू हैव टू बेयर दिस फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. यस और नो? आपका सेल्स जीरो भी होता है फिर भी यू हैव टू इनकर दिस कॉस्ट. सो इन दैट सेंस इट इज अ रिस्क. हाँ, if your sales is extraordinary, still you will be bearing a fixed cost. So risk in the form of fixed cost is called leverage as far as financial management is concerned. Irrespective of your sales, you have to bear this fixed cost. ये fixed cost आपको चुभेगा अगर आपका कुछ sales ना हो तब. So in that sense, it is a risk. Are you following? Variable cost varies with sales. अगर सेल्स है तो वेरिएबल कॉस्ट है, अगर सेल्स नहीं है तो वेरिएबल कॉस्ट नहीं है. बट फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट irrespective of your quantum of sales, irrespective be it a nil sale, be it 100 crore sales, fixed cost will be fixed. You have to bear this cost. So in that sense it is a risk. Okay? So risk leverage means risk in the business, risk in the business due to presence of fixed cost. Followed till here? I'm just quickly revising the concepts that you have already learned in the chapter of leverage. Now, fixed cost can be broadly classified into two types. One is operating fixed costs, and one is financial fixed costs. Tell me, students, what do you mean by financial fixed cost and what do you mean by operating fixed cost? Batao. Batao. Please write your answers in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself and try to make the class more interactive. Tell me, what do you understand by the term operating fixed cost? Hey, you please participate. Huh? If you participate, it will be more interactive session and you would love that. Otherwise, I would just keep on speaking. I would not know whether you are understanding, whether you are able to comprehend, apprehend or not. So please participate करना क्लास में. आपको जो भी समझता हो, कुछ भी डाउट हो पूछना, but keep it interactive. Again, no reply. So I will move forward. So operating fixed cost का definition है. Operating fixed cost are all the fixed cost other than financial. क्या बोला मैंने? ध्यान से हाँ, सुनना ध्यान से. Operating fixed cost are all the fixed cost other than financial. And financial fixed cost are all the fixed cost which are financial. This is a simple definition of operating fixed cost and financial fixed cost. सर ये आप बीकॉम के स्टूडेंट्स को समझा रहे हो वैसा समझा रहे हो? ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट आर दोज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट अदर देन फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. सो लेट्स फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट में कौन से फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट आते हैं. फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट सिंपली मींस कॉस्ट ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग द बिजनेस. हम बिजनेस को कहां से फाइनेंस करेंगे? कैन आई से वी विल फाइनेंस आवर बिजनेस फ्रॉम डेट, फ्रॉम प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स एंड फ्रॉम इक्विटी शेयर्स. करेक्ट. हमारा बिजनेस ये तीन सोर्सेस से फाइनेंस होगा. सो कैन आई से डेट विल कम विद इंटरेस्ट. So interest will be your fixed financing cost or will be your financial cost. Following with preference shares, preference dividend आएगा. And with equity shares, equity dividend आएगा. Yes or no? So interest, preference dividend and equity dividend becomes your financial cost. Any other cost apart from these three will become your operating cost. Are you following? यहां तक समझा? फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट मींस कॉस्ट ऑफ रेजिंग द फाइनेंस फॉर योर बिजनेस. तो हम बिजनेस को फाइनेंस कौन से सोर्सेज से करेंगे, कौन से कैपिटल से करेंगे? कैन आई से डेट से कर सकते हैं, प्रेफरेंस शेयर से कर सकते हैं या थ्रू इश्यू ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स कर सकते हैं. यस और नो? सो विद डेट इंटरेस्ट आएगा. सो इंटरेस्ट विल बिकम योर फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट. With preference shares, preference dividend आएगा. So preference dividend becomes your financial cost. Equity shares के साथ equity dividend आएगा. So equity shares also becomes your financial cost. But हम यहाँ पे leverage means fixed cost की बात कर रहे हैं. किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? We are talking or we are just considering the fixed cost. So can I say out of this three financial cost, can I say interest company has to bear fixed permanently? Yes or no? Irrespective of your sales, we have to pay interest to the debt holders. Correct. We have to pay fixed preference dividend to the preference shareholders irrespective of your sales. Sales zero bhi ho, if you have raised money from preference shareholders, you have to pay preference dividend. But equity dividend is not your fixed cost. Why? Because it is discretionary to pay equity dividend. Board of director decides whether to declare the dividend or not. If they decide, then shareholders will approve in the AGM. But if they don't decide, then there is no point of equity dividend. Are you following? So out of these three financial cost, interest and preference dividend becomes your fixed financial cost, because हम यहाँ पे fixed financial cost की बात कर रहे हैं. And leverage talks about risk due to presence of fixed cost. बोलो, any doubts still here? Tech team, I'm not able to see any chats of any students. Can you please check? Okay, now I can see. या ओके, स्क्रीन विजिबल, ओके। टेक टीम ऐसा कुछ कर सकते हैं कि जो भी स्टूडेंट्स चैट बॉक्स में रिप्लाई करते हो तो मुझे इंडिविजुअल चैट्स में ना जाना पड़े, बल्कि एक साथ ही कॉमन चैट बॉक्स में दिखे, ऐसा कुछ सेटिंग हो सकता है? आई हैव टू सी द इंडिविजुअल चैट बॉक्स। सॉरी। ओ इज इट? ओके, नो वरीज। ओके ओके, नो वरीज देन। सो ओके, सो फ्रॉम दिस वी अंडरस्टूड दैट इस दुनिया में दो ही तरह के फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट है, इंटरेस्ट एंड प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड। हाँ, तीन तरह के फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट है, बट उसमें से दो तरह के फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट है, दैट इज इंटरेस्ट एंड प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड। सो इंटरेस्ट एंड प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड के अलावा इस दुनिया में जितने भी फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है, ऑल ऑफ देम विल बिकम ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। आर यू फॉलोइंग? ऑल ऑफ देम विल बिकम ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। जैसे आपका रेंट आ गया, जैसे आपका फिक्स सैलरी आ गया, जैसे डेप्रिसिएशन ऑन एसएलएम आ गया, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। सो ऑल द फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट except interest and preference dividend will become your operating fixed cost. फॉलोइंग? सो पहले आपने ये मतलब समझ लिया ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट का मतलब क्या, फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट का मतलब क्या। नाउ लेट्स कम बैक टू द लेवरेज चैप्टर अगेन। कैन आई से measure of risk in the business, risk present in the business due to presence of operating fixed cost will be termed as operating leverage, OL, या DOL, degree of operating leverage. Either you simply call it as OL और डॉल भी बुला सकते हो आप, डिग्री ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज। ठीक है? सो ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट के वजह से बिजनेस में जो रिस्क होता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं? ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज, या ऑपरेटिंग रिस्क, या डिग्री ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज, कुछ भी बोल सकते हो। लाइकवाइज रिस्क इन द बिजनेस due to presence of interest and preference dividend will be called as financial leverage, or will be called as financial risk, or can be termed as degree of financial leverage. Followed? So you understood the meaning of term leverage बिजनेस में क्यों होता है? बिकॉज ऑफ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट दो तरह के, ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट, फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट में कौन से दो वेरिएबल्स, कौन से दो टर्म्स आएंगे? इंटरेस्ट और प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड। इसके अलावा जितने भी फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है विल बी टर्म्ड एज ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। सो लेवरेज और रिस्क इन द बिजनेस ड्यू टू प्रेजेंस ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट will be called as operating leverage. Risk in the business due to presence of interest and preference dividend will be called as degree of financial leverage. दोनों को जोड़ देते हैं तो कहना है we will get combined leverage. Yes or no? Combined leverage means risk present in the business due to presence of operating fixed cost as well as financial cost, fixed financial cost. Following? Understood? So a basic understanding or a brief revision of leverage is done. Now tell me what is the formula to calculate operating leverage. आपने कौन सी फॉर्मूला सीखी है बताओ? What is the formula of operating leverage? You have already learned in your live LVCs, in your regular LVCs. Tell me, students. Equity dividend is not operating. The reason is we raise equity share capital to finance our business. Yes or no? हमें बिजनेस में फाइनेंस की जरूरत है, इसलिए वी रेज इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल। सो इक्विटी शेयर के साथ जो इक्विटी डिविडेंड आता है दैट इज अ फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट। But as I told you, that is not a fixed financial cost. Why? Because paying of equity dividend is discretionary. अगर board of directors की इच्छा हुई तो they can declare the dividend. Otherwise, they are free not to declare dividend as well. So equity dividend, Samriddhi, it is not a operating cost, but it is financial cost. ठीक है? Yes. Contribution upon EBIT. Yes. Sachin is correct. Operating leverage की formula is contribution upon EBIT. So let's say for example, operating leverage comes to 3. Let's say by applying the above formula, we found that operating leverage comes to 3. How do we interpret this answer? What do you mean by operating leverage of 3? Bolo, how will you interpret this? See, as a financial manager, your role will start now. ये तो anyone can calculate. By applying a simple formula, anyone can find operating leverage. But how will you interpret that? That is where a financial manager or a CA will come into picture. Following? So can I say operating leverage of 3 means operating leverage, first of all, you know that it is a study from sales to EBIT. Operating leverage ka study is from sales to EBIT, correct? So operating leverage of 3 means if I increase my sale by 1%, if my sales increase by 1%, then its effect on my EBIT will be 3%. Sir, 3 कैसे आया? Because operating leverage is 3. In other words, can I say if my sales increase by 10%, तो मेरा EBIT 30% से बढ़ेगा. Why? Because operating leverage is 3. So can I say operating leverage is nothing but study from sales to EBIT, which depicts percentage change in EBIT due to percentage change in sales. So ये भी आपने फॉर्मूला सीखी थी. I hope you are able to recollect. Operating leverage of 3 means if my sales increase by 1%, तो 1% increase in sales की इफेक्ट मेरे EBIT पे 3%, 3 टाइम्स आएगी. आर यू फॉलोइंग? अच्छा, अगर सेल्स 10% से बढ़ रहा है तो EBIT में इफेक्ट मेरी 30% से होगी. अच्छा, कहना इसे लेवरेज इज अ रिस्क. रिस्क तो रिस्क के दो पैरामीटर्स है. रिस्क हैज पॉजिटिव साइड एज वेल बट नेगेटिव साइड एज वेल. मान लो सेल्स 10% से गिरा तो कहना इसे मेरा EBIT फ्लैट 30% से गिर जाएगा. Followed, this is how you interpret operating leverage. And from this logic, we derived a formula of operating leverage, which is nothing but percentage change in EBIT upon percentage change in sales. Followed everyone? Any doubts? So operating leverage में हमने चैप्टर में दो फॉर्मूला सीखी थी. One is how to calculate operating leverage, which was contribution upon EBIT. Second, once calculation is done, how to interpret that? उसकी फॉर्मूला है परसेंटेज चेंज इन EBIT अपॉन परसेंटेज चेंज इन सेल्स. ठीक है? क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? लेट्स मूव टू फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. बताओ, what was the formula that you have learned for financial leverage? EBIT upon EBT. Yes, Samruddhi, you are correct. Financial leverage is nothing but EBIT upon EBT. Now let's say by applying the formula for the time being, financial leverage comes to 2. Tell me, how will you interpret this 2? How will you interpret this answer of 2? हमने फॉर्मूला से कैलकुलेट तो कर लिया, आंसर 2 आ भी गया एंड इट इज करेक्ट, यू विल गेट फुल मार्क्स. बट उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन क्या? Can I say financial leverage is a study from EBIT to EPS. Financial leverage, you know that financial leverage is a study from EBIT to EPS. It means if my EBIT increases by 1%, तो मेरा EPS will increase by 2%. Are you following? If my EBIT increases by 1%, then my EPS will increase by 2%. Sir, 2% कैसे? Because my financial leverage is 2. So in other words, can I say अगर मेरा EBIT 10% से बढ़ रहा है तो मेरा EPS 20% से बढ़ेगा. फॉलोड? अच्छा, मान लेते हैं कि EBIT 10% से डाउनफॉल हो रहा है तो मेरा ईपीएस पे असर 20% डाउनफॉल हो जाएगा. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अ रिस्क. लेवरेज मींस रिस्क. एंड यू वेरी वेल नो कि रिस्क के दो पैरामीटर्स है, पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव. हायर द रिस्क यू कैन गेट हायर रिटर्न एज वेल. बट मान लो इफ देयर इज अ डाउनफॉल तो बहुत बड़ा डाउनफॉल होगा ईपीएस पे. फॉलोइंग? सो विथ दिस लॉजिक, degree of financial leverage की another formula is percentage change in EPS due to percentage change in EBIT. ठीक है? So this is formula for interpretation of financial leverage. And this also you have already learned in your regular classes. So this is also done. Let's move to combined leverage. A combined leverage is nothing but operating leverage into financial leverage. A simple formula. It is a combination of both the leverage. Total leverage भी बोल सकते हो, total combined leverage भी बोल सकते हो, या total risk in the business भी बोल सकते हो. ठीक है? Everything means the same. Just these all are different pat names. Followed? So can I say with this I can create a formula of combined leverage? Can I say operating leverage is nothing but contribution upon EBIT, and financial leverage is nothing but EBIT upon EBT? Yes or no? So with this, can I say my combined leverage की दूसरी formula बन गई contribution upon EBT? Are you following? So this is formula number 1. This is formula number 2. And third is formula of combined leverage for its interpretation. Can I say again, combined leverage is nothing but operating leverage into financial leverage. ये ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला कुछ इस तरह थी, परसेंटेज चेंज इन ईबीआईटी अपॉन परसेंटेज चेंज इन सेल्स. और फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला फॉर इंटरप्रिटेशन कुछ इस तरह थी, परसेंटेज चेंज इन ईपीएस अपॉन परसेंटेज चेंज इन EBIT. This mountain is nothing but change का symbol. This triangle means change. So can I say percentage change in EBIT and percentage change in EBIT will get cancelled? So in other words, can I say my formula for combined leverage will be percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in sales. So combined leverage को हम interpret कैसे करेंगे? Let's say combined leverage comes to 4. So this means if my sales increase by 1%, then my EPS will increase by 4%. This is how you interpret combined leverage. Acha, if my sales decrease by 1%, then my EPS will decrease by 4%. This is how you interpret combined leverage. Bolo, any doubts still here? So we briefly revised the meaning of the term leverage. Leverage business में present किस वजह से होता है? तो fixed cost की वजह से होता है. Then we classified the fixed cost into two parts. One is operating fixed cost, one is financial fixed cost. Financial fixed cost मतलब अभी आपको यही याद रखना है कि it is nothing but interest and preference dividend. इसके अलावा apart from these two fixed cost, all the other cost ऑल द अदर फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट आर ऑपरेटिंग। फिर ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला, फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला एंड कंबाइंड लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला वी हैव ब्रीफली रिवाइज्ड। बोलो, एनी डाउट स्टिल हियर? एनी डाउट्स स्टूडेंट्स till here? Everything smooth? Okay. So now our task, next task is to apply these concepts in practical problems. ठीक है? So let's take some practical problems. And I guess in your regular classes, you have mostly covered the problems of module of your study material, right? So आज in your revisionary classes, we will try to cover problems that are there in RTP, MTP. So जितना हो सके उतना हम cover करेंगे. If time permits, we will also try to solve a case study that is there in your study material. ठीक है? So everything gets covered and you are through with this chapter. Followed? Sounds good? Yes, sir. Sounds good. Okay. So let's solve RTP questions. So पहले मैं RTP September 2025 जो आप लोगों की अटेम्प्ट है उसके क्वेश्चन लेता हूं. एज फार एज लेवरेज चैप्टर इज कंसर्न्ड, टुडे वी आर रिवाइजिंग जस्ट द लेवरेज चैप्टर. सो उसमें आपको कोई क्वेरी हो, उसमें आपको कोई डाउट हो, यू कैन फ्रीली आस्क. डोंट हेजिटेट. इंस्टीट्यूट इज ऑलवेज विद यू ऑल. Okay, so there is one MCQ for leverage which is combined with ratios, but ठीक है, we will cover this. A manufacturing company, एक, all of you can see this question, right? Question 2. A manufacturing company which is presently growing at a good rate has a financial leverage of 3. Its present borrowings are as follows. So a manufacturing company has borrowed from three sources. One is 12% term loan, one is 10% bank borrowing, and one is 8% public deposit. The interest coverage ratio will be as follows. हमें क्या पूछा इस क्वेश्चन में? इंटरेस्ट कवरेज रेशियो. ठीक है? सो फर्स्ट RTP September 2025. This is MCQ question number 2. ठीक है? They have asked interest coverage ratio. So whenever ratios are asked, आपके मन में सीधा इसकी फॉर्मूला याद आनी चाहिए. योर माइंड शुड डायरेक्टली रिकलेक्ट द फॉर्मूला ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कवरेज. ए इंटरेस्ट कवरेज कहना है, द फॉर्मूला इज EBIT अपॉन इंटरेस्ट. Yes or no? Can I say the formula is EBIT upon interest? Means how many times my EBIT is able to cover my fixed interest expense. उसको हम interest coverage ratio बोलते हैं. Means मेरा operating profit कितना टाइम्स इंटरेस्ट को कवर कर सकता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड इंटरेस्ट कवरेज रेशियो. सो वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट EBIT एंड वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट इंटरेस्ट. ठीक है? कैन आई से दे हैव गिवन फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज इन द क्वेश्चन. How much is the financial leverage given? It is 3. So can I say this 3 is nothing but EBIT upon EBT? Yes or no? Financial leverage की formula क्या है? EBIT upon EBT. तो this 3 मैं कुछ इस तरह भी लिख सकता हूं, EBIT upon EBIT minus interest. Yes or no? How do we calculate EBT? EBT, earnings before tax, is nothing but earnings before interest and tax minus interest. ठीक है? So 3 is equal to EBIT upon EBIT minus interest cost. Hey, how do we calculate interest? Can I say 60 lakh पे 12% plus 40 lakh पे 10% plus 20 lakh पे 8%? Yes or no? So you guys please calculate the amount of interest expense. 50 lakh पे 12% प्लस 40 lakh पे 10% प्लस 20 lakh पे 8%. 12 5 are 6. 6, 4 lakh, 6 lakh, 1.6 lakh. So 11.6 lakh. Yes or no? Is this correct? 11 lakh 60,000. Yes, correct. So can I say 3 is equal to EBIT minus 11.6 lakh? So can you all tell me what would be my EBIT solving this simultaneous equation? बताओ. Please calculate and tell me मेरा EBIT कितना आएगा? I don't have calci, so you all please try. Everyone is getting 1740. 1740. I assume this is correct. So 17.4 lakh. ठीक है. So I found my EBIT which is 17.4 lakh. My interest cost is 11.6 lakh. So tell me what is my interest coverage ratio? 1.5. 1.5. ठीक है. So answer is B, 1.5. Followed? So now let's see whether there is any descriptive question on leverage. This is capital structure. This is leverage. Yes. Question number 7 is on leverages. ठीक है. So let's solve this. X Limited and Y Limited are two mid-sized companies operating in the same industry. Both the companies have recently undergone a financial review to assess their operational efficiency, cost structure, and financial risk. You, as a financial analyst, have been provided with selective financial indicators and are required to draw some insights on leverage analysis. See, exam में ऐसा heading नहीं देंगे that this question is on leverage. From the question you have to make out कि ये कौन से chapter से. So here they have given a hint that you have to do leverage analysis. ठीक है. Leverage analysis means obviously leverage chapter का होगा. So likewise you have to practice more and more question and try to identify कौन से chapter का question है ये. ठीक है. And income statement reconstruction. The management of X Limited has disclosed that the company is currently operating with a margin of safety ratio of 0.1667. In contrast, Y Limited has a margin of safety that is twice as high that of X Limited. So again, RTP September 7, question number 7. There are two companies, X Limited, Y Limited. Question is all about leverage analysis. X Limited का margin of safety is how much? Can I say it is 0.1667 given in the question? Y Limited का margin is twice that of X. So can I say Y Limited का MOS? MOS is nothing but margin of safety. It will be 0.1667 into 2. Yes or no? So 0.334. Correct? Let's move to another paragraph. Both the companies maintain a financial leverage of 3. So both the company has financial leverage of 3. ठीक है. लिख दिया. Both the variable cost ratios are 60% for X and 50% for Y. Variable cost ratio 60% for X and variable cost ratio 50% for Y. So can I say my contribution ratio will be 40% for X and contribution ratio for Y? Contribution ratio means contribution to sales ratio will be 40% for X and 50% for Y. And contribution to sales ratio उसको हम PV ratio भी बोलते हैं, profit volume ratio. This you have very well learned in your costing paper as well. ठीक है. इन टर्म्स ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग कॉस्ट, एक्स लिमिटेड incurs एनुअल इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस विच इज 30,000. सो एक्स लिमिटेड का इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस कितना है? 30,000. वेर एज वाई लिमिटेड का इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस कितना है? Y Limited, however, incurs interest expense that is 30% higher than X Limited. Huh? Please focus on this word. यहाँ पे students generally do mistake. It is 30% higher than X Limited. Means X Limited से 300% more and not 300% of X Limited. Are you following? दोनों में फर्क है. 300% higher than X Limited means can I say X Limited का interest is 30,000 प्लस 300% करना पड़ेगा. यस और नो? बिकॉज हायर बोला है, ऐसा नहीं बोला है कि 300% ऑफ एक्स लिमिटेड. अगर ऐसा बोला होता तो वी वुड हैव मल्टीप्लाइड 30,000 इंटू 300%. होप यू आर फॉलोइंग दिस. दिस इज वेरी क्रूशियल पॉइंट एंड दिस इज वेर स्टूडेंट्स आइडियली डू मिस्टेक. वो 30,000 इंटू 300% करते हैं बट हायर देन एक्स लिमिटेड बोला है मीन्स वी हैव टू ऐड. So when I say 30 into 390, so this interest expense for Y Limited would be 1,20,000. Everyone understood this point? Yeah, correct. So read the question very carefully. Which affects the net profitability after interest and tax. You are required to prepare income statement for both the companies and identify which company is better placed based on leverages. ठीक है? So what we have to do in this question, we have to prepare income statement. So we will prepare income statement for X Limited and for Y Limited. Can I say my income statement will start with sales? इसमें से I will subtract variable cost, so I will get contribution. इसमें से I will subtract fixed operating cost, fixed cost, but operating fixed cost. So I will get operating profit, which is called as EBIT. इसमें से I will subtract interest expense, so I will get EBT. Anywhere, have they given any tax rates? Tax rate is 30% for both the companies. So we will subtract tax as well and we will get earnings after tax. ठीक है? This is how you will prepare income statement. Understood? So now the format of income statement is ready. अब आपको क्या करना है? What is your approach? पहले तो जो ये फॉर्मेट में से जो फिगर डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल है जस्ट पेस्ट इट, जस्ट पेस्ट इट. सो कहना है हमारे पास इसमें इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस है. सो राइट दिस नाउ. दिस इज हाउ यू शुड अप्रोच any problem. First, find what is asked. They have told you to prepare income statement. तो पहले उसका फॉर्मेट बना दो. फिर उस फॉर्मेट में जो डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल इंफॉर्मेशन है, जिस वेरिएबल की इंफॉर्मेशन डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल है, यू जस्ट पेस्ट दैट. सो इन दिस केस वी हैव इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस एज वी हैव कैलकुलेटेड अबव. अंडरस्टूड? वो मैंने पेस्ट कर दिया. नाउ विथ दिस इंफॉर्मेशन ट्राई टू फाइंड सम अनदर वेरिएबल. ठीक है? अब इंटरेस्ट को लेके ट्राई टू फाइंड अनदर वेरिएबल फ्रॉम दिस इनकम स्टेटमेंट. जैसे आप ट्रेजर हंट गेम खेलते हो ना, एक क्लू से दूसरे क्लू पे जाते हो. लेवरेज एंड रेशियोज चैप्टर इज एंटायरली अ ट्रेजर हंट गेम. एक क्लू से यू हैव टू फाइंड अनदर वेरिएबल एंड यू हैव टू रीच योर फाइनल डेस्टिनेशन. ठीक है? सो इंटरेस्ट है एंड वी हैव फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज एज वेल. फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज है एंड इंटरेस्ट है. So can I say I can take the help of this and calculate EBIT? So working note 1, calculation of EBIT using financial leverage. ठीक है? For X Limited. Can I say financial leverage is nothing but EBIT upon EBT? Yes or no? एंड ईबीटी को मैं कुछ इस तरह भी लिख सकता हूं, ईबीआईटी माइनस इंटरेस्ट. करेक्ट? So financial leverage of 3 is equal to EBIT is X. X minus interest of X limited is 30,000. So students, can you tell me what is EBIT of X limited? 3X minus 90 is equal to X. So 2X is equal to 90. X is equal to 45,000. Please check up. Please solve it on Cal C 45. Yes, 45,000. So my EBIT for X limited is 45,000. So can I say यहाँ पे मेरा 45,000 आ जाएगा? So can I say my EBT will be 15,000? My tax is at 30%. So tax will be 4,500. Yes or no? And 10,500 will be my earnings after tax for X limited. So बातों बातों में हमारा आधा इनकम स्टेटमेंट फॉर एक्स लिमिटेड हो गया. Likewise, we will calculate EBIT for Y limited. Financial leverage is 3. It is nothing but EBIT upon EBIT minus 1,20,000. So my EBIT for Y limited will be 3 minus 360, 180. 180, yes, correct. So 180 is my EBIT for Y limited. उसमें से इंटरेस्ट माइनस करूंगा तो मुझे ईबीटी मिल जाएगा विच इज 60,000. उस पे 30% टैक्स मीन्स 18,000. सो माय अर्निंग्स आफ्टर टैक्स और प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स कम्स टू 42,000. ठीक है, यहां तक एनी डाउट? अब बचा क्या? टू फिल अप द अपर पार्ट ऑफ द इनकम स्टेटमेंट. ठीक है, सो नाउ ट्राई टू टेक हेल्प of the balance information available in the question. See, I have PV ratio, right? PV ratio for X limited is 40%. So एक बार मुझे कंट्रीब्यूशन का फिगर मिल जाए, एक बार मुझे ये फिगर मिल जाए, तो I can easily calculate sales and variable cost, and balance would be fixed cost. Likewise, my contribution to sales ratio for Y limited is 50%. Yes or no? सो एक बार मुझे कंट्रीब्यूशन का फिगर मिल जाए, I can easily find the balance variables. Followed? So now your target, your mind should focus on finding the contribution. Can I say contribution find करने के लिए अगर मेरे पास operating leverage होता, I would have used the operating leverage and found contribution. Yes or no? Working note 2. Calculation of contribution using operating leverage. सर ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज होता तो हम कंट्रीब्यूशन कैसे फाइंड करते हैं? कैन आई से ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज इज नथिंग बट कंट्रीब्यूशन अपॉन ईबीआईटी. ये अगर मेरे पास ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज होता, मेरे पास ईबीआईटी है, तो आई कैन इजीली फाइंड द थर्ड वेरिएबल. यस और नो? आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो नाउ टारगेट to find operating leverage. Your target is that you find operating leverage. एक बार operating leverage मिल गया, we will substitute the value of operating leverage in this formula and find contribution. Understood? And operating leverage, if you recollect, operating leverage is nothing but inverse of margin of safety. Are you following? What is margin of safety? ए बिजनेस में जितना सेफ्टी ज्यादा, कैन आई से उतना रिस्क कम. Margin of safety is nothing but actual sales minus break-even sales. How much extra sales over and above your break-even sales you are generating, that is called margin of safety. So जितना safety net ज्यादा, कहने से उतना business में risk कम. So that's why operating leverage is inverse to margin of safety. And I hope you have learned how this formula has been derived. ठीक है, in your regular LVCs. So operating leverage is nothing but inverse of margin of safety. So just remember, जितना सेफ्टी ज्यादा बिजनेस में, जितना सेफ्टी ज्यादा उतना रिस्क कम, ऑब्वियसली. Safety and risk are inverse. So operating leverage is inverse to margin of safety. So can I say for X limited, my operating leverage would be 1 divided by 0.1667. टेल मी कितना आ रहा है? हाँ यस करेक्ट 6. ठीक है. सो इन अदर वर्ड्स मेरा ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज इज 6. आई डोंट नो द कंट्रीब्यूशन एंड माय ईबीआईटी इज 45,000 फॉर एक्स लिमिटेड. So my contribution comes to 45,000 into 6, which comes to 270. So my contribution comes to 270. Okay? So this contribution comes to 270. And if we divide by 40%, you will get sales. So my sales would be 270 divided by 0.4. 6,75,000. Yes or no? 6,75,000. My variable cost would be 4,05,000, which gives me a contribution of 270, and my fixed cost would be 2,25,000. This is the balancing figure. Okay? So likewise, let's calculate operating leverage for Y limited. So operating leverage would be 1 upon MOS, that is 1 upon 0.334. So how much is operating leverage for Y limited? 34. Exactly 3 आ रहा है. Yes or no? So can I say my contribution for Y limited would be 3 is equal to contribution upon EBIT. How much is EBIT for Y limited? It is 180. Therefore, contribution comes to 5,40,000. So मेरा Y limited का contribution comes to 5,40,000 divided by 50%. So sales would be 10,80,000. My variable cost would be 5,40,000 and my fixed cost would be 3,60,000. Followed everyone? So समरी कुछ इस तरह बनती है. Summary for X limited and Y limited is as follows. My operating leverage for X limited was 6 and for Y limited it is 3. Financial leverage for both the company is 3. Yes or no? So can I say my combined leverage is 18 for X limited and it is 9 for Y limited. So can I say X limited, as far as risk or as far as leverage is concerned, it is more risky? Hey, are you following? So this is your summary. This is your opinion or view that you have to give at the end. Since combined leverage, that is the total risk of X limited, is higher than Y limited, it is more risky company. Are you following? Are you following? And why it is more risky? Because of the presence of fixed operating cost. देखो यहाँ पे see financial leverage. As far as financial leverage or as far as interest coverage ratio is concerned, it is same for both the companies. So as far as financial risk is concerned, दोनों at par है. But operating risk means business risk X limited में ज्यादा है. So that's why overall risk is higher. Followed everyone? Any doubts in this question? Yes, everyone is correct. You all are smart enough. यू ऑल आर वेरी स्मार्ट. आपको लेवरेज चैप्टर एकदम अच्छे से आता है. So I guess there is no another question in RTP as far as leverage chapter is concerned. Yeah. So let's try and solve another question. So September 25. उसके पहले का attempt था May 25. So let's see that. I hope you are following this chapter. Huh? This chapter is very easy. Huh? Easily आप स्कोर कर सकते हो. अच्छा देखो, फर्स्ट इज एमसीक्यू. एमसीक्यू 3. RGT infrastructure has degree of operating leverage which is 3. ठीक है. Sales level is 7 lakh and operating income is nothing but EBIT only. Yeah? So EBIT is 220. Fall in sales of the company is 10%. So how much my operating income will fall? ये पूछा है क्वेश्चन में. So can I say this question is all about interpretation of operating leverage? Yes or no? May 2025 RTP MCQ नंबर 3. ठीक है. इसमें क्वेश्चन में दिया है योर ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज इज 3. योर करंट सेल्स लेवल इज 7 lakh and your EBIT, which is nothing but your operating income, is how much? At sales of 7 lakh, my operating income is 2 lakh 20. So क्या पूछा है? If my sales, question asks, if my sales falls by 10%, then by how much amount my operating income will decrease? So if my sales decrease by 10%, if sales decrease by 10%, can I say operating leverage of 3 means my EBIT, that is my operating income, will fall by 30%? This is what we have revised as well, and this is what you have already learned in your regular classes as well. इसको interpret कैसे करना है? So fall in sales of 10% means fall in EBIT by 30%. So can I say my EBIT will fall by 220 into 30%, means 66,000 से मेरा EBIT fall हो जाएगा. Means मेरा सेल्स मान लो 70,000, that is 10% of 7 lakhs, 70,000 से गिरता है तो मेरा EBIT 66,000 से गिर जाएगा. Are you following? Followed everyone? बोलो any doubts, any concerns? Very simple. So let's move to descriptive question. Let's see if there is any descriptive question. FM is very scoring subject. Huh? So you should practice more and more. You should get your concepts very clear. If your concepts are very clear, then FM is very smooth for you. Financial leverage, we have question number 7. Again, question number 7 of May 25 attempt is on leverage. ठीक है. So question number 7. Details of Kshitij Limited are given below for the year ended 31st March 25. We have sales, we have fixed cost, excluding interest. So can I say in other terms, this is operating fixed cost? इंटरेस्ट अगर इसमें होता तो फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट बन जाता. तो एक्सक्लूडिंग इंटरेस्ट जो भी फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट हुआ, कैन आई से इट इज ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट? सर प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड भी तो नहीं बोला है, बट देर इज नो प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल, इसलिए इन एब्सेंस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन वी डोंट कंसिडर एनी प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. ठीक है. अगर प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड होता तो दे वुड हैव गिवन प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल. BEP sales. BEP sales is nothing but break-even point sales. Huh? BEP means break-even point sales. You should get familiar with this short terminology. Equity share capital of 100 each, 150 lakh. Tax rate 25%. Cost of debt 9%. debt is 90 lakhs. Calculate operating leverage, financial leverage, combined leverage, PV ratio. So A part is all about leverages and PV ratio. No worries. Part A. First, we will calculate operating leverage. What is the formula of operating leverage? Can I say it is nothing but contribution upon EBIT? Yes or no? ठीक है. So operating leverage ढूंढने के लिए I need to find contribution and I need to find EBIT. ठीक है. Now, tell me, how will I find EBIT? बताओ. How will I find EBIT? Can I say EBIT? अगर मेरे पास फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज होता तो फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला लगा के मैं ईबीआईटी ढूंढ पाता. यस और नो? अगर मेरे पास फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज होता तो मैं फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला लगा के आई वुड हैव फाइंड ईबीआईटी. फिर ये ईबीआईटी को मैं ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला में सब्स्टिट्यूट करता तो मुझे ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज या कंट्रीब्यूशन मिल जाता. यस और नो? आर यू फॉलोइंग? अच्छा, फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज ढूंढने के लिए आई वुड नीड इंटरेस्ट. यस और नो? सो योर यू टारगेट फर्स्ट हाउ टू कैलकुलेट इंटरेस्ट. So working note number one, your first target should be calculation of interest expense. How will you find interest expense? बताओ. सर क्वेश्चन में दिया है ना सर, debt is 90 lakhs and cost of debt is 9%. So sir 90 lakhs into 9%. 90 lakhs का 9%. Sir 8 lakh 10,000. How many of you agree that my interest expense is 8 lakh 10,000? बताओ. How many of you agree that my interest is 8 lakh 10,000? Sachin agrees. Sachin says sir 9 lakh का debt है, cost of debt is 9%. So sir 90 lakh into 9% is my interest expense. Sachin, there is a small error over here. Let me explain what error you did. Cost of debt, they have given you KD, right? Cost of capital chapter याद करो. How to calculate KD? Can I say it is nothing but interest 1 minus T? KD ऐसे कैलकुलेट होता था. Yes or no? So this 9% is KD, which is given in the question. Interest I don't know, and I have tax rate of 25. So can I say my X, which is nothing but interest percentage, will be 9 divided by 0.75, which comes to 12%. Yes or no? Followed? So this was a little tricky part in calculating interest expense. Followed? Cost of debt, KD बोला है, नॉट द इंटरेस्ट परसेंटेज. तो केडी कैसे कैलकुलेट हुआ होगा? कैन आई से इंटरेस्ट 1 माइनस टी, कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल चैप्टर में से फॉर्मूला ली. सो माय इंटरेस्ट परसेंटेज वुड बी 12%. सो कैन आई से माय इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस, my interest expense would be 90 lakh into 12%, 10 lakh 80,000. So Samriddhi was correct. She correctly calculated interest. Followed? Followed everyone? Bolo, any doubts still here? Any queries, any concerns? Now tell me, let's for our easy understanding, let's prepare an income statement. So हमें पता चले हमने कौन सा फिगर मिला है और कौन सा ढूंढना बाकी है. ठीक है. So sales less variable cost will give me contribution. Yes or no? Less fixed cost will give me EBIT. Less interest will give me EBT. Less tax at 25% will give me profit after tax. Since there is no preference dividend, this earnings after tax will be termed as earnings available to equity shareholders. ठीक है? तो पहले for our easy, let's substitute the value that are given. Sales is given 180 lakhs. We don't have the variable cost, so we cannot find the contribution. We have fixed cost. Fixed cost is how much? 45 lakhs. So I will get EBIT. We found interest cost. Interest cost is 1080. So I will get EBT. उस पे 25% टैक्स लगा दूंगा तो I will get earnings after tax. Now tell me friends, अब हमारा नेक्स्ट टारगेट क्या ढूंढने में होगा? अब हमारा नेक्स्ट टारगेट क्या ढूंढने में होगा बताओ? EBIT. How will you find EBIT? How will you find EBIT? बताओ. Samriddhi is correct, but tell me the way to calculate EBIT. Think and tell me the way. Fixed cost minus interest. Fixed cost minus interest. That is not EBIT. EBIT is contribution minus fixed cost. EBIT is contribution minus fixed cost. Are you following? Fixed cost minus interest is not your EBIT. गलत रास्ते पे जा रहे हो. सोचो सोचो. कॉस्टिंग का फॉर्मूला याद करो. When BEP sales is given and when fixed cost is given. When BEP sales is given and when fixed cost is given. Think and remember the costing की formula. Is there any link between BEP sales, fixed cost and PV ratio? Costing में. If fixed cost is there, if PV ratio is there, and if BEP sales is there any link between the two? Fixed cost upon contribution per unit, but हमें यहाँ पे per unit नहीं ढूंढना है. We have not, in the question they have not given the number of units, so per unit contribution हमें पता नहीं है. सोचो, you have BEP sales, you have fixed cost. With this, can you try and find PV ratio? Can you try and find PV ratio? See, what is BEP sales? What is BEP sales? What you have learned in costing? Can I say break-even point sales means sales where EBIT, where your operating profit is zero, means your income, you are just able to recover your variable cost and fixed cost. That is BEP sales. Yes or no? Less fixed cost, operating profit. ठीक है? BEP sales means that sales where your operating profit is zero. Yes or no? Are you getting this? What is my fixed cost? 45 lakhs. Correct? So can I say my contribution would be 45 lakh? Correct? Yes or no? And my BEP sales given in the question is 120 lakhs. Yeah, are you following? So can I say my variable cost would be how much? बताओ कितना होगा? 120 minus 45, 75 lakh होगा. So when my sales is at BEP point, at break even point, can I say I'm earning zero of operating profit? My contribution is just recovering my fixed cost. Everyone following till here? Any doubts till here? Bolo, any doubts till here? Any queries? Any concerns? Yes, now Sachin is correct. I was hoping for this formula. Fixed cost upon PV ratio is your BEP6. Are you following? So I was waiting for this formula. Can I say my BEP sales is nothing but break even point sales is nothing but fixed cost upon PV ratio? Yes or no? This formula all of you have learned in costing. This formula all of you have learned in costing. Yes or no? So I have BEP sales of 120 lakhs. My fixed cost is 45 lakh. So what is my PV ratio? बताओ PV ratio कितना आएगा? बताओ. So can I say it is nothing but 45 divided by 120 into 100, 37.5%. So जिसको ये फॉर्मूला क्लिक नहीं हो रहा था, आई हैव एक्सप्लेन द लॉजिक ओवर हियर. इसमें भी देखो, contribution is 45 lakh and sales is 120 lakh. My contribution to sales ratio will be 45 lakh divided by 120 lakh, which comes to 37.5%. Followed everyone? So if you are not able to recollect the formula, then go by the logic. लॉजिक से ही फॉर्मूला डिराइव हुई है, बट आई वॉज वेटिंग फॉर दिस फॉर्मूला and some student rightly said. So can I say my PV ratio comes to 37.5%? Yes or no? So my PV ratio is done 37.5%. Followed? So can I say अगर मुझे contribution मिल जाए, sorry, I have sales of 100%. So can I say my contribution of 37.5% would be 180 into 37.5%. 67.5 lakhs. Yes or no? Correct. So my EBIT in this case would be 67.5 minus 45. 22.5 lakhs. My interest is 10.8 lakhs. So can I say my EBT would be 22.5 minus 10.8? 11.7 lakhs. Tax at 25%. 2.925 lakhs. And my earnings after tax 8.775 lakhs. So once your income statement is ready, you can easily calculate operating leverage, financial leverage, combined leverage. तीनों इसी में से मिल जाएगा. Followed? Followed everyone? Any doubts? Any query? Any concerns? So can you tell me what would be my operating leverage? It is contribution upon EBIT 67.5 divided by EBIT is 22.5. कितना आ रहा है? 67.5 divided by 22.5. 3. Financial leverage is EBIT upon EBT 22.5 divided by EBT. My EBT is 11.7. 22.5 divided by 11.7. 1.92. And my combined leverage is nothing but operating leverage into financial leverage. 3 into 1.92. 5.77. Or you can apply the formula of contribution upon EBT. ठीक है? Followed everyone? Followed everyone? Acha, another way of solving operating leverage, alternative way of solving alternative way of solving or finding operating leverage is you first calculate margin of safety, and we know operating leverage is inverse of margin of safety. Yes or no? Correct? So can I say operating leverage, is inverse of margin of safety? How do I find margin of safety? What was the formula for margin of safety? Can I say it is nothing but actual sales less BEP sales? Means how much extra sales you have generated over and above your actual sales. Divide by actual sales. Yes or no? This was your MOS ka formula, margin of safety ka formula. So can I say my actual sales is 180, my BEP sales is 120, divided by 180. Can I say it comes to 60 divided by 180 means one third. 0.333. Yes or no? So can I say my operating leverage 1 divided by 0.333, which comes to 3 only. Followed. So this is also another way of solving operating leverage. ठीक है? So ऊपर भी हमारा 3 आया. And by using the alternative method, we are getting the same operating leverage of 3. Any doubt, students? Yes, correct. So our first part of the solution is done. We found operating leverage, we found financial leverage, we found combined leverage, and we found PV ratio. Okay, PV ratio was 37.5%. Second is return on our capital employed and EPS. Second में क्या पूछा है? ROCE पूछा है, EPS पूछा है. EPS तो we can easily find. कैसे? We have earnings after tax of 8.775 lakh. We will divide by number of equity. Can I say my number of equity is 150 lakh divided by 100 means 1.5 lakh is my number of equity shares? Yes or no? 150 lakh का total capital, one share is having face value of 100. तो can I say मेरा number of equity shares 1.5 lakh होगा? So part B, EPS is equal to earnings after tax, which is nothing but earnings to equity shareholders in this question, because there is no preference shares, divided by number of equity shares. So 8.775 lakh divided by 1.5 lakh. So my EPS comes to 5.85 rupees. Yes or no? Followed, students? Acha, EPS is done. ROC बाकी है ढूंढना. ROC. What is the formula of ROC? Return on capital employed. Capital employed. See how to interpret or how to derive the formula. It's in the name only. नाम में ही रखा है. Capital employed. हम capital कहाँ से लाए होंगे? कहना है हम debt से लाए होंगे, equity से लाए होंगे, and preference से लाए होंगे. Correct? But इस question में preference तो है नहीं. So कहना है we would have raised the capital or we would have employed the capital from two sources, debt and equity. Yes or no? So दोनों का total is my total capital. Can I say my equity is 150 and my debt is 90? तो मेरा denominator में can I say debt plus equity share capital, which is nothing but 90 lakh plus 150 lakh, 240 lakh आ जाएगा. And return on capital employed. Return means profit. How much profit we have earned for this both capital providers. हाँ, ये दोनों के लिए हमने कौन सा प्रॉफिट कमाया है? कैन आई से वी हैव अर्नड ईबीआईटी फॉर दिस टू? यस और नो? क्योंकि ईबीआईटी ऐसा प्रॉफिट है जिसमें हम इंटरेस्ट भी भरेंगे, जिसमें से हम इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को इक्विटी डिविडेंड भी देंगे. आर यू फॉलोइंग? वी कैन नॉट टेक पैट. व्हाई? बिकॉज ये प्रॉफिट में डेट होल्डर्स का कोई हक नहीं है. दे आर नॉट एलिजिबल टू गेट इंटरेस्ट फ्रॉम दिस प्रॉफिट. आर यू फॉलोइंग? इस हमें तो वो प्रॉफिट चाहिए जिसमें दोनों का हक हो, डेट होल्डर्स का भी हक हो एंड इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स का भी हक हो. तो ऐसा कौन सा प्रॉफिट है? कहना से इट इज ईबीआईटी. इज एवरीवन फॉलोइंग? ईबीआईटी में दोनों का हक है, डेट होल्डर्स का भी हक है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स का भी हक है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इक्विटी डिविडेंड. प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर होता तो उनका भी हक है इसमें इन द फॉर्म ऑफ प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. वन मोर थिंग, गवर्नमेंट का भी हक है ईबीआईटी में इन द फॉर्म ऑफ टैक्सेस. फॉलोड? सो ईबीआईटी इज दैट प्रॉफिट जिसमें सबका हक है. ईबीटी होता तो ईबीटी में गवर्नमेंट का हक है, इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर का हक है एंड प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर का हक है. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी हैव पेड द इंटरेस्ट. ईएटी होता प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर का हक है एंड इक्विटी का हक है. सिर्फ अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी होता सो दैट एंटायर प्रॉफिट इज नाउ फॉर इक्विटी. Followed? This is how you interpret. So here we have to find return on capital employed, return on total capital. So total capital includes debt and equity. So इनके लिए कौन सा प्रॉफिट? EBIT. Followed? How much is my EBIT? It is 22.5 lakh. So can I say my ROC is 22.5 divided by 240 into 100, which comes to 9.375%. Is everyone following? So company ने this 9.375% is nothing but your return on investment. मैंने कैपिटल रेस किया कहाँ से? इक्विटी और डेट से 240 लाख का. That I would have invested in my business. Yes or no? 240 lakh लाया, I invested in my business 240 lakh, and whose 240 lakh से I have earned 9.375%. This is your return on capital employed. This is how you interpret ROCE. Followed? 240 lakh I have raised, I've invested 240 lakh in the business. उस 240 lakh इन्वेस्ट करने पे मुझे 9.375% मिला. अंडरस्टूड? ROCE? Correct. So ROC is done. So B part is done. Now let's move to C part. C, does Kshitij Limited have favorable financial leverage? बताओ. Does Kshitij Limited have favorable financial leverage? ए, फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज फेवरेबल है कि नहीं ये मत चेक करना कि सर FL इज 1.92 पॉजिटिव है तो फेवरेबल फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. नो, दैट इज रॉन्ग इंटरप्रिटेशन. दैट इज एब्सर्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन. सर फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज पॉजिटिव है तो फेवरेबल है. नो, दिस इज एब्सर्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन. व्हाट इज फेवरेबल फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज? if you are able to earn, if your ROCE or return on investment is greater than your interest cost, then you have favorable financial leverage. Are you following this? Yeah, are you following? C, check whether your ROCE is greater than your interest expense or not. If yes, then you have favorable financial leverage. Means you are able to earn more on your investment. Let's say your ROC is 15%. मीन्स जहां आपने इन्वेस्ट किया है बिजनेस में वहां से 15% कमा रहे हो एंड इंटरेस्ट सिर्फ आप 12% ही दे रहे हो इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. सो कैन आई से यू आर अर्निंग good means that is favorable financial leverage. Following. But let's say if your ROC is just 8% and you have to pay a debt ka interest of 12%, this is not a favorable financial leverage. Means you are not capitalizing on the debt. Are you following? This is what it means. See, debt is a fixed cost. Sorry, interest is a fixed cost on debt, correct? Irrespective of your sales, irrespective of your return, you have to bear this fixed cost. मतलब आपको ये फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट को कैपिटलाइज करना है, जनरेट मोर रिटर्न. आर यू फॉलोइंग? इफ यू आर एबल टू जनरेट मोर रिटर्न then you are capitalizing on that, and in other words you have favorable financial leverage. Are you understanding? इसमें ऐसा नहीं पूछा है कि सर फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज पॉजिटिव है तो सर इट इज फेवरेबल है. नो, दैट फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज मेजर इज द मेजरमेंट ऑफ रिस्क. फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज फेवरेबल कब होगा? व्हेन यू आर एबल टू कैपिटलाइज ऑन दैट रिस्क. जब आप रिस्क का फायदा उठाओ, जब आप रिस्क से इश्क करो तब. आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो रिस्क से इश्क कब होगा? व्हेन यू आर एबल टू जनरेट मोर आरओसी. आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो इफ योर आरओसी इज ग्रेटर देन योर इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस देन यू आर जनरेटिंग फेवरेबल फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. ठीक है? अंडरस्टूड? Any doubts, any clarity you want in this question? C part. So check the solution of C part. This is question number 7. So can I say EPS 5.85 हमने कैलकुलेट किया था. 5.85. PV ratio 37.5. Yes or no? Operating leverage 3 आया था. Just verify your answers. 1.92 and 5.76. ROC 9.375%. And see your ROC, which is in this case, can I say it is 9.375%? इस केस में कितना है? 9.375%. And your fixed interest cost is 12%. So when I say in this case your ROC is less than your fixed interest expense, मीन्स कि आप अपना फिक्स्ड इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस का कॉस्ट भी नहीं निकाल पा रहे फ्रॉम योर बिजनेस. सो यू आर नॉट एबल टू कैपिटलाइज ऑन दिस रिस्क. आप रिस्क से इश्क नहीं कर पा रहे. सो द फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज इज नॉट फेवरेबल. फॉलोइंग स्टूडेंट्स. सो ऐसा नहीं देखना है कि फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज पॉजिटिव आया तो सर फेवरेबल है. नो, दैट इज एब्सर्ड इंटरप्रिटेशन. So since ROC is less than interest, Cities Limited does not have a favorable financial leverage. ठीक है? Followed everyone? So part C is done. Part D. Part D में क्या पूछा है? A doll in most of the cases would be more than financial leverage only. So वैसे आपको कंपैरिजन नहीं करना है. You have to check how much return you have generated from your investment. And that return that you have generated from your investment compare with the fixed financial cost, which is interest in this case. तो क्या आपका रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट फिक्स्ड एक्सपेंस फिक्स्ड इंटरेस्ट परसेंटेज से ज्यादा है? मीन्स यू हैव कैपिटलाइज्ड ऑन द फाइनेंशियल रिस्क. मीन्स यू हैव कैपिटलाइज्ड ऑन द फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. ठीक है? सो ऐसे इंटरप्रेट करना है. एंड व्हाट इज डी पार्ट? डी पार्ट इज, अच्छा डीबी था, सॉरी आई मिस्ड दैट. Percentage change in EBIT, percentage change in EPS if EBIT increases or decreases by 15%. So EBIT से EPS का study, can I say it is about financial leverage? So here they are indirectly talking about financial leverage. Yes or no? So what does this financial leverage of, हमारा फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज कितना आ रहा था? फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज वॉज, कहा गया, फाइनेंशियल, अरे 1.92, ठीक है, 1.92 वॉज माई फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. सो ईबीआईटी से ईपीएस का स्टडी इज ऑल अबाउट फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. सो कैन आई से इफ माई ईबीआईटी इंक्रीज बाय 1%, my EPS will increase by 1.92%. Yes or no? If EBIT increases by 1%, my EPS will increase by 1.92%. This is how you interpret financial leverage. तो क्वेश्चन में कितना बोला है? क्वेश्चन में बोला है कि इफ EBIT increases or decreases by 15%. तो अगर 15% से EBIT बढ़ेगा तो कैन आई से माई EPS will increase by 15 into 1.92. Yes or no? So कितना आया? 15 into 1.92, 28.8% से बढ़ेगा. अच्छा, if my EBIT decreases by 15%, so EPS will fall. EPS will fall by 15 into 1.92. That is, it will fall by 28.80%. ठीक है? Followed everyone? ठीक है. सो आप ऐसे भी कर सकते हो, या बेटर और एन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड वे ऑफ कैलकुलेटिंग इज writing down the formula of financial leverage. Can I say it is nothing but percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in EBIT? Yes or no? So can I say 1.92 is equal to percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in EBIT? How much it is? Can I say it is nothing but plus minus 15%? Yes or no? Either increase or decrease by 15%. So therefore, percentage change in EPS will be equal to plus minus 15 into 1.92, which comes to 28.8%. So this is a more organized or a professional way of solving. This is more of the explanation part. Followed, students? So this was a good question on leverage. RTP May 25 had a good question. Yes, correct. Correct. Financial leverage is not favorable. Hey, are all the students able to grasp, able to understand what is going on in the lecture? Are you facing any difficulties? Do you have any doubts in this chapter? Feel free. We are here to help you. आगे बढ़े लाइफ में. Clear? That's great. Let's move on with our life. So September 25, May 25. May 25 के पहले कौन सा अटेम्प्ट होगा? आई गेस Jan 25 होगा. So there are no MCQs on leverage. Question 1 is a detailed case study which is on mixture of all, but more or less it is on working capital. Question 2 MCQ dividend. Third is cost of capital. Let's move to descriptive part. Question 6. Question 7 again on leverage. RTP is standard. Question 7 leverage पे आ रहा है. RTP Jan 2025, descriptive question number 7. From the following financial data, prepare income statement for company X and Y. तो पहले क्या पूछा? इनकम स्टेटमेंट. So let's prepare income statement for X and Y. So आंख बंद करके, सॉरी नहीं, आंख तो खुला रखना पड़ेगा. आंख खुला रखते फर्स्ट यू प्रिपेयर अ स्टेटमेंट. सेल्स लेस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट कंट्रीब्यूशन. ये फॉर्मेट है ना, आपको नींद में भी याद होना चाहिए. You should reach at this level now. Less fixed cost will give me EBIT or operating profit. Less interest will give me EBT. Is tax rate given in the question? Yes, tax is given. तो वो भी भरेंगे. And tax rate is 30%. The resultant figure will be called as EAT. ठीक है. So income statement, second step. जो फिगर डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल है, जस्ट कॉपी पेस्ट इट. सो कहने से वेरिएबल कॉस्ट, फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट एंड इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस फॉर एक्स इज अवेलेबल. 72, 35, 12. So 72,000 is my variable cost. 35,000 is my fixed cost. And 12,000 is my interest. ठीक है. So I have substituted this. और Y लिमिटेड के लिए इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस है एंड सेल्स है. इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस इज हाउ मच? 6,000 and sales is 145. So I will write down sales 145, interest 6,000. So mentally, psychologically, you will get relaxed कि यार चलो आधा टेबल तो कंप्लीट हो गया यहाँ पे. So always write down what is directly available. Now, with the help of this all figures, जो इस टेबल में मैंने डाला हुआ है, and with the help of some other information from the question, try to find something. So, another hint or another advice out of my experience of teaching, I will tell you. जब फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज एंड इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस ये दोनों दिया हो ना कोई भी क्वेश्चन में, वेन एवर फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज एंड इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस इज गिवन, टारगेट EBIT. Target, always target EBIT. This is out of experience and practice. You will get EBIT easily. So working note number 1, calculation of EBIT for X limited, using financial leverage. Can I say financial leverage is nothing but EBIT upon EBT, and EBT can be written as EBIT minus interest. Financial leverage is how much? 4. So can I say 4 is equal to EBIT upon EBIT minus interest expense of 12,000. So can I say my EBIT for X limited for company X comes to कितना आ रहा है बताओ? 3,000, sorry, 16,000. 4 EBIT minus 48 is equal to 16,000. So can I say my EBIT comes to 16,000? So I will write down 16,000 in this column. Okay? And can I say this EBIT I calculated using working note 1. So you can give reference of working note as well in the income statement. So this is a professional approach, organized approach of preparing income statement. 16,000 कैसे आया? तो उसका रेफरेंस दिया कि वर्किंग नोट 1 में हमने कैलकुलेट किया है. आप वर्किंग नोट 1 देखो. Followed? So 16,000 minus interest 12,000. Can I say my EBIT will be 4,000? 4,000 पे 30% टैक्स, 1,200 टैक्स. So can I say my earnings after tax? Instead of writing on the next page, I am writing over here only. 2,800. Yes or no? Acha, EBIT 16,000 and I have fixed cost of 35,000. So can I say my contribution would be 35,000 plus 16,000? 51,000? Correct? Acha, contribution is 51,000. Variable cost is 72,000. So can I say my sales would be 51 plus 72? Yes or no? 123. Followed everyone? So with just one help, एक क्लू से हम हमारे डेस्टिनेशन पे पहुंच गए. ठीक है. Now likewise, with the help of the information given for Y limited, try to find something. Try to find something. Acha, variable cost is 65% of sales. So if my sales is 100, 65% is variable cost. Can I say my PV ratio is 35%? My contribution to sales ratio would be 35% for Y limited. Yes or no? Instead of writing on the left side, मुझे यहाँ लिखने दो. 100, this is 65. So this is 35. So can I say 1,45,000 का 35%? 1,45,000 का 35%. 50,750 would be my contribution. Yes or no? And 1,45,000 ka 65% is variable cost. So 94,250 is my variable cost. Followed. Now I have operating leverage. So can I say with the help of operating leverage, working note number 2, I can calculate EBIT? Yes or no? Calculation of EBIT for company Y using operating leverage. Operating leverage is nothing but contribution upon EBIT. My operating leverage is 5. So 5 is equal to contribution is 50,750. And EBIT I don't know. So can I say my EBIT for company Y will come to 5750 divided by 5. 10,150. Yes or no? So this is 10,150 minus 6,000. So can I say 4,150 will be my EBT? And 40,600, the balancing figure, will be my fixed cost. अच्छा, ये EBIT हमने कैसे कैलकुलेट किया? From working note 2. So give reference of that working note. 4,150 is my earnings before tax. इसका 30%. 1,245 minus 4,150. 2,905 is my earnings after tax. बोलो सचिन, any query? Students, any query? Any doubts? So हमारा A part is done. Preparing of income statement. So first part is done. Calculate margin of safety for both the company. Second part. Can I say margin of safety is nothing but inverse of operating leverage? Operating leverage is inverse of margin of safety. So margin of safety is also inverse of operating leverage, na? So for company X, how much is my operating leverage? For company X, my operating leverage is contribution is 51,000 and EBIT is 16,000. 16,000, which comes to 51,000 divided by 16,000. 3.1875. So therefore, margin of safety for company X will be 1 divided by 3.1875. ठीक है, which comes to 0.3137, which is nothing but 31.37%. Followed for company Y. A company Y का operating leverage is directly given in the question. So I can directly find MOS, which is nothing but 1 divided by operating leverage, which is 5, which comes to zero point 0.2, which is 20%. Clear? Second part, any concerns, any queries, any doubts? बताओ, any doubt? आगे बढ़े? Clear, yes. Now, third part. Third part. Third part is calculate percentage change in EPS if percentage change in sales is 25%. मीन्स यहाँ पे सेल्स से लेके ईपीएस की बात करिए. Yes or no? So the study from sales to EPS is nothing but the study of combined leverage. So यहाँ पे they are trying to indirectly say that use combined leverage की formula, use combined leverage का value and try to find the percentage change in EPS due to percentage change in sales. Following? Yes or no? So can I say my combined leverage is nothing but percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in sales? Yes or no? So first find combined leverage for company X. Can I say it is nothing but operating leverage into financial leverage? Company X का operating leverage is 3.1875 and financial leverage is given in the question 4. ठीक है? So 3.1875 into 4. 3.1875 into 4. 12.75 is my combined leverage for company X. So can I write this as 12 is equal to percentage change in EPS? Sorry, 12.75. 12.75 is equal to percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in sales, which is how much? 25%. 25. Therefore, percentage change in EPS. Can you see the impact is how much? 12.75 into 25. 318.75. Are you following? मीन्स मान लो अगर सेल्स 25% से डाउनफॉल हो रहा है तो ईपीएस पे लास्टिंग इफेक्ट ऑफ 318.75% आ रहा है. ईपीएस इतने परसेंट से गिर जाएगा. फॉलोइंग? सो दैट्स व्हाई इट्स अ रिस्क. Likewise, let's calculate combined leverage for company Y. Company Y का operating leverage is given, which is 5. कितना था? 5 या 4? 5. And financial leverage of company Y. Financial leverage of company Y दिया नहीं है बट हम कैलकुलेट तो कर सकते हैं. EBIT upon EBT. EBIT is 10,175. EBT is 4,150. 10,150 divided by 4,150. 2.4457. 5 into 2.4457, which comes to 12.2289. 12.23. Take it up to 2 decimals. ठीक है? So therefore for company Y, percentage change in EPS. Can I say it will be 25 into 12.23, which comes to 305.72%. Are you following? Any doubts, students? Any queries? It won't break, Sachin. This is just a 2.5 hour session. 2.5 hour session में भी आपको break चाहिए. No break. There is no break in 2.5 hour session. 6 hour session हो तो बात अलग है. You get half an hour break, but this is just a small revisionary lecture. ठीक है? So now सी एज ऑफ नाउ आपके मॉड्यूल में स्टडी मटेरियल में या आरटीपी एमटीबी में 95% ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस आर विदाउट प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल. सो प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल जब हो, कैन आई से प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड विल कम इनटू पिक्चर. प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल जब कंपनी के कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर में हो, प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड आ जाएगा. एंड अगेन प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड इज ऑल्सो फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट. तो फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट है तो उसकी इफेक्ट हमें फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज में लेनी ही पड़ेगी. सो हाउ डज द फॉर्मूला ऑफ फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज बी व्हेन देयर इज प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड इन द क्वेश्चन. सी अभी आप जो फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला लगाते हो ना, ईबीआईटी अपॉन ईबीटी, दिस विल होल्ड ट्रू ओनली व्हेन देयर इज नो प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल in the company. This formula will work only when कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर में प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल नहीं है. जब प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल आएगा, when preference share capital comes into the picture, how will my financial leverage formula change? Can anyone tell me what is the formula when there is preference share capital present in the business? Present in the business, बताओ. See, a simple or a logical way of remembering the formula is very simple. देखो, मान लो प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल नहीं है तो फॉर्मूला इज ईबीआईटी अपॉन ईबीटी. yes or no? And EBT is nothing but, can I say, EBIT minus interest? yes or no? So अगर प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल नहीं है तो हमने EBIT में से इंटरेस्ट माइनस किया, क्योंकि एक ही फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट है विच इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. बट अब जब प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड आता है तो कहने से फॉर्मूला कुछ इस तरह बननी चाहिए, EBIT अपॉन EBIT में से इंटरेस्ट तो माइनस करेंगे बिकॉज इंटरेस्ट इज देयर ऑन फिक्स्ड डेट, बट अब प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड भी आएगा. यस और नो? नाउ प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल इज देयर इन द बिजनेस, तो आप प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड भी माइनस करो ना, सिर्फ इंटरेस्ट क्यों माइनस कर रहे हो? यू डिडक्ट प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड एज वेल. बट अगेन this is incomplete. Why? Because this EBIT figure is before tax. This interest amount is also before tax. And preference dividend amount, we pay preference dividend after paying the taxes. So ये जो amount है ना, that is after tax. So in order to make it comparable with this two, we bring this to before tax. Are you following? So preference dividend divided by 1 minus T means you are bringing preference dividend का amount before tax. Why you are bringing the amount before tax? So that you can make it comparable in the formula. क्योंकि इंटरेस्ट भी बिफोर टैक्स है, ईबीआईटी भी बिफोर टैक्स है, सो हमें प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड को भी बिफोर टैक्स लाना पड़ेगा. सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज द फॉर्मूला ऑफ फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज when preference dividend will come into picture. Are you following? So in other words, can I write this as financial leverage is equal to EBIT the whole upon Can I write EBIT minus interest as EBT? Yes or no? Minus preference dividend अपॉन 1 - t. ठीक है. सो आफ्टर टैक्स से बिफोर टैक्स में आना हो तो यू डिवाइड बाय 1 - t. बिफोर टैक्स से आफ्टर टैक्स जाना हो तो यू नो वी मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 1 - t. फॉलोड. So this is how the formula will change when preference dividend or when preference share capital is there in the question. So can I say मेरी combined leverage की formula भी change हो जाएगी? Now it will be what? Can I say it will be contribution and not just about EBT, but it will be EBT less preference dividend divided by 1 - t. Followed, students? Any doubt, any questions, any queries? This is very important. Followed? So क्या अब हम एक illustration ले, which I will give you right now in the lecture when preference share capital is given. Because I guess in your module, in your RTP, NTP, 95% of the questions are without considering preference share capital. तो जब क्वेश्चन में प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल हो तब कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. सी ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज is the risk due to presence of operating fixed cost. The preference dividend is not your operating fixed cost. And also the operating leverage में formula is contribution upon EBIT. तो वहां तक तो प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड का कोई लेना देना भी नहीं है. फॉलोड? Followed? So operating leverage will not change, but financial leverage will definitely change when there is preference share capital in the business. Okay? So now let's take one illustration. Let's take some numbers so that you get better understanding. So I have prepared an illustration. We will take that. Equity share capital is rupees 8 lakhs. And face value of one share is rupees 10 each. ठीक है. So number of shares, can I say 80,000 होगा. Now there is 10% preference share capital in your business amounting to rupees 5 lakh. You have debt as well, 12% debentures, which comes to rupees 7 lakh. ठीक है. So my total capital is of 15-20 lakhs. Understood? Now additional information. Additional information. Profit after tax is equal to rupees 2,80,000, where your tax rate is 30%. ठीक है. Second part. Operating expenses. Operating expenses are 1.5 times of EBIT, and these operating expenses are inclusive of fixed cost of rupees 96,800. ठीक है. सो टोटल ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस हमारा 1.5 टाइम्स ऑफ EBIT है. सो वो जो 1.5 टाइम्स का जो फिगर आएगा उसमें देयर इज अ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट ऑफ 96,800. फॉलोड? Additional information number 3. market price per share of equity is rupees 25. Understood? ठीक है? And you have to calculate. So this is the question. This is the illustration and information. Calculate number one, operating leverage, financial leverage, combined leverage, EPS, and sales. Second, calculate cover for preference dividend. Third, calculate earnings yield ratio. And fourth, calculate P ratio. ठीक है? So this is the illustration जहाँ पे 3 sources of capital है. Equity, preference, debt. Total capital is 20 lakhs. PAT is given 280. Tax rate is given 30%. Operating expense are 1.5 times of EBIT, inclusive of fixed cost. MPS, calculate operating financial leverage. So this is the question. Please go through it in 30 seconds. अब question को पहले समझ लो and then we will start with the solution. Please go through the question so that आपको figure सब mind में रहे. ठीक है? Now moving to the next slide. So that in your conscious you are memorizing the basics of question कि क्वेश्चन में क्या दिया और क्या फाइंड करना है. हाँ मैं स्लाइड ऊपर नीचे तो करूंगा सो नो वरीज इन दैट. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. सबसे पहले तो ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज, कंबाइंड लेवरेज, फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज, ईपीएस एंड सेल्स, ये सब ढूंढने के लिए कहने से वी नीड टू प्रिपेयर इनकम स्टेटमेंट. हमारा इनकम स्टेटमेंट बन गया. एवरीथिंग वी कैन इजीली फाइंड फ्रॉम दैट. सो आवर इनकम स्टेटमेंट बिकम्स द सोर्स डॉक्यूमेंट. तो सोर्स डॉक्यूमेंट हमेशा अच्छे से बनाने का so that there are no errors in any calculations. Start with sales, less cost, cost. FC is fixed cost. I am denoting it in short terminology. EBIT less interest, EBT less tax, EAT, and this earnings is not the earnings for equity shareholders. कहने से इसमें से मुझे प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड माइनस करना पड़ेगा because now preference share capital is there. So balance is my earnings for equity. अब जो बचा वो सारा अर्निंग्स इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स के लिए. डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स एंड आई विल गेट माय ईपीएस. सर अब तक फॉर्मेट में डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स नहीं करते थे, अब तक ईपीएस नहीं पूछा था इसलिए. इन दिस क्वेश्चन दे हैव आस्क्ड, सो आई विल डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स. सो नेक्स्ट स्टेप, जो फिगर डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल है क्वेश्चन में से राइट इट दैट. कौन सा अवेलेबल है? सॉरी इलस्ट्रेशन यहाँ पे ही है. पैट अवेलेबल है. पैट इज अर्निंग्स आफ्टर टैक्स 280. सो मैं यहाँ पे 280 लिख सकता हूं. यस यू कैन राइट. करेक्ट. अच्छा, इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल नहीं है बट आई कैन इजीली फाइंड. इंटरेस्ट कितना होगा? 7 लाख का 12% होगा. Yes or no? Directly available नहीं है, easily I can find. So 12 sevens are 84. 84,000 is my interest expense. So यहाँ पे मैं interest लिख दूं. कैसे आया? तो 12 लाख का 7%। ठीक है। टैक्स रेट इज 30% विच इज गिवन। अच्छा, प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल नहीं है, बट कहने से माई प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड वुड बी 5 लाख का 10% विच इज 50,000। सो यहाँ पे मैं 50,000 लिख दू। यस और नो? So I will get earnings for equity shareholders. I have number of equity shares. Number of equity shares, can I say 8 lakh divided by 10 each? So 80,000. So जो डेटा अवेलेबल था, I just pasted into my format. This is how you should approach. ठीक है। अब आगे बढ़ो, अब आगे बढ़ो। See, now I can start from PAT. Now I can start from PAT. PAT में से if I subtract preference dividend, PAT of 280. If I subtract 50,000, can I say I can get earnings for equity? Yes or no? Divided by number of equity shares. Divided by 80. 230 divided by 80. 2.875. I got my EPS. Simple. So PAT के नीचे का टेबल इज डन। अब ऊपर जाओ। सी पैट इज 280, तो कहना है से इफ ईबीटी इज 100, उसमें से हम टैक्स 30% भर देते हैं, तो माई ईएटी बिकम 70%। यस और नो? सो कहना है से बाय क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन, बाय इंटरपोलेशन, आई कैन फाइंड ईबीटी का फिगर। सो ईबीटी विल बी 280 into 100 डिवाइड बाय 70। 4 लाख इज एवरीवन फॉलोइंग, एंड 30% टैक्स 4 लाख का, तो 120 वुड बी माई टैक्स। सो आ गया ईएटी ऑफ 280। फॉलोड? आई एम गोइंग अपवर्ड्स नाउ। सो 280 डिवाइड बाय 70% विल बी माई अर्निंग्स बिफोर टैक्स। अच्छा, अर्निंग्स बिफोर टैक्स इज 4 लाख, इंटरेस्ट इज 84, तो मेरा ईबीआईटी 484 होगा ना? ये सर नो? फॉलोड? सो बातों बातों में मैं टेबल के ईबीआई तक तो आ गया। नाउ जस्ट सेल्स टू ईबीआईटी बाकी है। नाउ यू हैव अनदर हिंट इन द क्वेश्चन, you have another information. Operating expenses are 1.5% of EBIT. So can I say my working note 2 will be of calculation of operating expense? Yes or no? Operating expenses is equal to 1.5 into EBIT. So 1.5 into my EBIT came to 484. So which comes to 1.5 into 484. 7,26,000. Are you following? तो मुझे बताओ, is this 7,26,000 just my fixed cost? Is this 7,26,000 just my variable cost, or it is both? This 7,26,000 is variable plus fixed, or just fixed, or just variable? बताओ, बताओ, what is your thought? यस सर, किस लिए था ये? बोथ। समृद्धि सेज बोथ। सचिन ऑल्सो सेज बोथ। धनुष सेज बोथ। ऑल ऑफ यू आर करेक्ट। ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस बोला है, दे हैव नॉट सेड दैट ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट इज 1.5 टाइम्स ऑफ ईबीआईटी। और वो लोग ने ऐसा नहीं बोला है कि ऑपरेटिंग वेरिएबल कॉस्ट इज 1.5 टाइम्स ऑफ ईबीआईटी। दे हैव जस्ट सेड ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस। सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड टोटल होगा। So can I say this 726 is both variable plus fixed? So ये 726 में से दो हिस्से होंगे, one is variable and one is fixed, and I know मेरा fixed कितना है। My fixed cost is 96,800। देखो दिया ना, inclusive of fixed cost of 96,800। So 726 में से 96,800 is fixed. So सो कहना से मेरा बचा हुआ बैलेंस वुड बी माय वेरिएबल कॉस्ट. कितना आया? 629,200. इज एवरीवन फॉलोइंग? सो कहना से माय फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट इज 96,800. So my contribution will come to 96,800 plus 484, 580,800. And my variable cost is 629,200. So my sales comes to 12,10,000. Hello, any doubts? So can I say question का first part EPS ढूंढना था, वो हमने ढूंढ लिया. सेल्स ढूंढना था, 12,10,000 आ गया. अच्छा, ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज, फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज, कंबाइंड लेवरेज, वी कैन डायरेक्टली अप्लाई द फॉर्मूला एंड सॉल्व. यस और नो? सो फर्स्ट पार्ट ईपीएस कितना आया था? 2.875. सेल्स comes to 12,10,000. Operating leverage is contribution upon EBIT. My contribution is 580,800 divided by EBIT is 484. 580,800 divided by 484. 580,800 divided by 484. 1.2 is my operating leverage. Financial leverage, EBIT upon EBT less preference dividend divided by 1 minus T. अब EBIT अपॉन EBT सिर्फ नहीं ले सकते बिकॉज प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड भी है इस क्वेश्चन में, तो उसको भी जस्टिस देना पड़ेगा. सो कहना है माय EBIT इज 484 divided by my EBT is 4 lakh less preference dividend is 50,000. 1 minus T means 1 minus 0.3. So when I say my financial leverage, so मेरा डिनोमिनेटर क्या हो रहा है? 4 lakh minus 50,000 divided by 0.7, which comes to 71,429. So 4 lakh minus 71,429. 328,571. So 484 divided by 50,000.7, 71,429. 4 lakh divided by 71,420, 328,571, which comes to 484 divided by 328,570, 1.47. Followed? And my combined leverage is nothing but operating leverage into financial leverage. Operating leverage is 1.2, financial leverage is 1.47. So 1.2 into 1.47, 1.764. Followed everyone? Any doubts? Any concerns? Okay. So first part of the question is done. After we complete this question, I will give you time to take screenshot of question and solution both. Because I guess this question is not there in your module, in your study material. Second, cover for preference dividend. In other words, ये preference dividend coverage ratio पूछा है. Yes or no? क्या पूछा है? Cover for preference dividend. So can I say it is nothing but preference dividend coverage ratio? Means how many times my profit covers my preference dividend. पहले तो मुझे ये बताओ, सी द टेबल वेरी केयरफुली एंड टेल मी हम प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड कौन से प्रॉफिट से देंगे. सी कंट्रीब्यूशन इज आल्सो अ प्रॉफिट. क्या हम प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड कंट्रीब्यूशन से देते हैं? नो, एब्सोल्युटली नॉट. प्रॉफिट ईबीआईटी भी है, क्या हम प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड ईबीआईटी से देते हैं? नो. अच्छा, प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स भी इज ऑल्सो प्रॉफिट, क्या हम प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स से प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड देते हैं? नो. बट हाँ, आफ्टर पेइंग एवरीथिंग, जो प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स बचा उसमें से हम प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड देंगे. फॉलोड. सो कहना है प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड कवरेज रेशियो की फॉर्मूला वुड बी, कौन से प्रॉफिट से देते हैं? पैट से देते हैं. पैट अपॉन प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. So my PAT is 280. My preference dividend is 50,000. 280 divided by 50,000. Can I say it comes to 5.6 times? 5.6 times. How do you interpret this 5.6 times? It means अगर मेरा preference dividend 5.6 times और ज्यादा होता, then also I have enough profit to pay that. Are you following? अगर मेरा प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड्स 5.6 टाइम्स ऑफ 50,000 और होता ना, फिर भी आई हैव इनफ प्रॉफिट टू पे प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. सो माय प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स इज कवरिंग 5.6 टाइम्स ऑफ प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. आर यू फॉलोइंग? दिस इज हाउ यू इंटरप्रेट प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड कवरेज रेशियो. एंड थर्ड पार्ट में क्या पूछा है? अर्निंग्स यील्ड रेशियो. What is the formula for earnings yield ratio? याद करो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल चैप्टर. earnings yield ratio, KE. There were 6 different methods to calculate KE. One method was using the concept of earnings yield. Earnings yield, can I say it is nothing but EPS upon MPS into 100? Yes or no? My EPS was 2.875. MPS is 23 into 100, which comes to 2.875 divided by 23 into 100. 12.5%. Comes to 12.5%. Followed everyone? How do we interpret earnings yield ratio? Market price is 23. So you have to visualize. आज मैं अगर शेयर खरीदूंगा तो मुझे 23 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट करने पड़ेंगे. ऑन दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ 23 रुपीज मुझे कंपनी कमा के दे रही है 2.875. So how much return company is generating? How much earnings company is generating? Can I say on the investment of 23, you are earning 2.875. So 2.875 divided by 23 into 100. That is 12.5% is your return in the form of earnings. Followed? Last but not the least, very simple P ratio. It is nothing but MPS upon EPS, which comes to 23 divided by 2.875. 23 divided by 2.875. 8. ठीक है? So 8 P ratio, 8 times. It means to earn 1 rupee of earning per share or to get 1 rupee of earning per share, investor is ready to pay 8 times of that. This is what P ratio का interpretation means. Means company 1 rupee of EPS कमा के दे रही है and you want to earn this 1 rupee of EPS from the company, you are ready to pay 8 times more. Following? You are ready to pay 8 times more. So in this case, company is able to earn, to generate 2.875 of EPS for you. So you are ready to pay 23 rupees. Followed? This is how you interpret P ratio. To get 1 rupee of EPS, how many times an investor is ready to pay? Followed? Students, any doubt in this illustration? Any queries? Clear है तो clear लिखो so that I get you are all through with this chapter. बोलो. Clear? Easy to understand? See, if you focus on concept ना, आपको concept याद है ना, तो all the chapter, not just this chapter, everything would be very easy. ठीक है? So if you want to quickly take a screenshot of this illustration, you can take this. Illustration with solution. ठीक है? This will help you for your further studies. Next slide पे जा रहा हूं. In 3, 2, 1. So continuation of this question. Take the screenshot of this as well. Moving on to the next slide in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, this is. So from this solution starts. Wait. ये सब लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. So now take the screenshot. Moving on to the next slide. 3, 2, 1. Moving on. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1, go. Three, two, one, next. Three, two, oh sorry. Three, two, one, last slide. Done? Shall we move ahead now? Okay. So now we have just 10 minutes. And I guess more or less all the different types of question under operating leverage is covered. So let's quickly discuss the case study that is there in your module. Okay? Sounds good? We will discuss, we will not able to solve completely because we don't have sufficient time. So we will discuss. So open your study material and in that module 1, in that leverage chapter and in that page number 38. Best Limited, a prominent company in semiconductors industry, aims to understand the impact of operating and combined leverage on its financial performance for 31st March 24. By examining the financial details, company seeks to make more informed decisions regarding cost structure and financing mix. Bash Limited is well-established firm known for its product in the market. With a focus on innovation and customer satisfaction, it has achieved a significant growth and success over the past years. So this is just a background and history. nothing relevant for our calculation. Financial analysis for year ending 31st March 24, Bash Limited provides following details. So this is fixed cost excluding interest. So can I say this is nothing but operating fixed cost? इंटरेस्ट नहीं है इसमें. सो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन माइनस जो फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट करते हैं ना, ये वो फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है. सेल्स 30,000 लैक्स, डिबेंचर्स 21 to 50 lakhs, and 12% is the interest rate. Equity share capital 17,000 lakhs. Income tax rate is 30%. Mr. Pallav, executive director from engineering background, discussed following analysis with CA, additional director finance of the company. Operating leverage. The current operating leverage is 1.4, which measures the impact of fixed cost on company's operating income. This we also know. ठीक है. कंबाइंड लेवरेज कंसीडर्स बोथ ऑपरेटिंग एंड फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज, ये हमें ये भी पता था. एंड कंपनीज कंबाइंड लेवरेज इज 2.8. सो इन शॉर्ट ये लाइन में ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज इज 1.4, कंबाइंड लेवरेज 2.8. हमारे मतलब की जो इंफॉर्मेशन है ना वो हमें निकाल लेनी है. बाकी स्टोरी में डोंट वेस्ट मच टाइम. C. Nagarjun explained that financial department is already analyzing various leverages operating financial combined. Good. Due to this, Bash Limited gains insight in its cost structure and risk. Again, good. This information enables the company to make strategic decisions about operating expense, financing options, overall business strategy. Good. Continuous monitoring and evaluation of leverage ratios will be essentials to maintain financial stability and sustainable growth. Again, good. So again, last paragraph is more or less of informative, और आई वुड से थियरी ऑन लेवरेजेस, कि लेवरेजेस से क्या क्या फायदा, क्या क्या बिजनेस में हम इंटरप्रेट कर सकते हैं, क्या क्या स्ट्रेटेजी बना सकते हैं. Calculate the ratios. Calculate financial leverage. A first is financial leverage. Can I say combined leverage is given? Operating leverage is given. You can easily find financial leverage. So financial leverage would be combined leverage upon operating leverage. Combined leverage कितना है? Combined leverage is 2.8, 1.4. So can I say my financial leverage is 2? ठीक है. Calculate PV ratio. Calculate PV ratio. Can I say my PV ratio is nothing but contribution upon sales into 100. I have my sales ka figure in the question. Sales is how much? I have my sales ka figure which is 30,000 lakhs. ठीक है. But I don't have contribution ka figure. So try to find contribution. If you are able to calculate contribution, job is done. Followed. कहने जब ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज की हेल्प से कंट्रीब्यूशन ढूंढ सकते हैं. ये सर व्हाट इज ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज? कंट्रीब्यूशन अपॉन ईबीआईटी. करेक्ट. हमारे पास ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज है 1.4. बट सर ईबीआईटी कहाँ है? ईबीआईटी तो नहीं है. तो अगेन वी आर स्टक. बट कहने जब फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज से आई कैन कैलकुलेट ईबीआईटी. Yes or no? Financial leverage is what? EBIT upon EBIT minus interest. I know my financial leverage is 2. I don't know EBIT. But I know my interest expense. Yes or no? Sir, कहा दिया interest? Interest is nothing but 21 to 50 into 12%. Correct? Following? I am giving you the way to solve. So interest हमें मिल जाएगा. Interest is how much? 21 to 50 lakhs of debt into 12%. इंटरेस्ट मिल गया तो फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज की हेल्प से आई कैन कैलकुलेट ईबीआईटी. यस और नो? ईबीआईटी मिल गया तो यहाँ पे मैं ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज की फॉर्मूला में सब्सटीट्यूट करूंगा एंड मुझे कंट्रीब्यूशन मिल जाएगा. फॉलोड. कंट्रीब्यूशन मिल गया तो आई कैन कैलकुलेट पीवी रेशियो. बोलो एनी डाउट्स इन पॉइंट 2? You have to try at home. I am just giving you the path. I'm just giving you the way to approach the question. So part 2 is done. Then they have asked earnings per share. To calculate earnings per share, कहना है हमें पूरा इनकम स्टेटमेंट बनाना पड़ेगा. सेल्स हमारे पास है. इन नंबर 2 इफ वी गेट पीवी रेशियो कंट्रीब्यूशन आ जाएगा. कंट्रीब्यूशन में से हम फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट माइनस करेंगे विच इज ऑलरेडी गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन. तो ईबीआईटी मिल जाएगा. ईबीआईटी में से हमारे पास इंटरेस्ट है 21,250 का 12%, तो हमें ईबीटी मिल जाएगा. ईबीटी में से टैक्स माइनस कर देंगे तो ईएटी मिल जाएगा. ए देयर इज नो प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड, तो कहना है से ईएटी इज योर अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी and divide by number of equity shares. Can I say number of equity would be 17,000 lakhs divided by 10 means 1700 lakh is my equity number of equity shares. तो मुझे EPS भी मिल जाएगा. So once you are able to solve the second part, you can easily complete your income statement. And income statement से आपको EPS मिल जाएगा. Any doubts, students? I'm giving you the way of solving. Calculate the asset turnover ratio. What is the formula for asset turnover ratio? Can I say it is nothing but third was income statement. इनकम स्टेटमेंट बना के आपको ईपीएस मिल जाएगा. फोर्थ इज असेट टर्नओवर. Asset turnover is nothing but can I just sales upon total asset? Yes or no? So my total asset, can I say it would be my total of liability side? Correct? So मेरी total liability side में क्या क्या होगा? Can I say it is nothing but इक्विटी होगा 17,000 लैक्स का एंड 12% डिबेंचर्स 21,250 लैक्स होगा. सो डिबेंचर्स होगा यहाँ पे 21,250 लैक्स, इक्विटी होगा 17,000 लैक्स. टोटल कम्स टू 21,38,250 लैक्स. करेक्ट. सो दिस इज माय टोटल असेट 38,250. देयर इज नो इंफॉर्मेशन ऑन करंट लायबिलिटी. आपको क्वेरी होगा सर करंट लायबिलिटी भी तो आता है, but there is no information, and in absence of information current liability is assumed to be zero. So my asset is 38,250 lakhs, my sales is 30,000 lakhs, so I can calculate asset turnover ratio. Yes or no? So asset turnover ratio भी हो गया हमारा. And last but not the least, calculate the minimum level of sales which must be attained to at least pay finance cost. To at least pay finance cost. इसमें क्या पूछ रहा है बताओ. Tell me. Think and tell me. Calculate the minimum level of sales which must be attained to at least pay finance cost. This means part 5 is trying to say, see, finance cost means interest over here. Yes or no? Is everyone following? Finance cost with interest over here. Yes or no? Correct. My interest cost is 21,250 lakhs of debt into 12%. Correct. Correct. So 21,250 into 12%, 2,550 lakhs. So what is the question saying? कि मेरा sales कितना होना चाहिए कि I am just see, मेरा सेल्स ध्यान से सुनना, मेरा सेल्स कितना होना चाहिए कि आई एम एबल टू पे टिल इंटरेस्ट. मीन्स आई एम एबल टू पे वेरिएबल कॉस्ट, आई एम एबल टू पे फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट, एंड आफ्टर दैट आई एम जस्ट एबल टू पे इंटरेस्ट. लिखा ना, टू एटलीस्ट जस्ट पे द फाइनेंस कॉस्ट. फाइनेंस कॉस्ट इज इंटरेस्ट. सो मेरा सेल्स कितना होना चाहिए कि आई एम जस्ट एबल टू कवर टिल interest. So can I say in this case my EBT will be zero? Yes or no? Because मैंने इतना ही कमाया है जितना मैं इंटरेस्ट भर सकूं. My operating income is just equal to my finance cost, interest. At what level of sales will be my EBT zero? This is what is asked in question number 5. Following, they have asked कि मेरा sales कितना होना चाहिए? कि I'm just able to attend, just able to pay at least the interest cost. Can I say my interest is 2550? So in other words, एक बार इंटरेस्ट भर दिया उसके बाद मेरे पास कुछ बचा नहीं है. This is what question 5 का English is trying to explain. English language थोड़ा भारी हो गया, but it is trying to say that you are just able to pay till interest expense. उसके बाद कुछ cover नहीं हो रहा है. So in other words, can I say if I am able to just pay interest expense, my EBT will be zero? So at what level of sales? At what level of sales my EBT will be zero? Are you following? So let's say again, let's say आपने ओरिजिनल इनकम स्टेटमेंट बनाया था, उसमें सेल्स वाज फॉर एग्जांपल 30,000 लैक्स. यस और नो? 30,000 लैक्स. एंड उसमें फॉर द टाइम बीइंग लेट्स अज्यूम, आई डोंट नो द एग्जैक्ट फिगर कितना आ रहा है. लेट्स अज्यूम एट 30,000 लैक्स ऑफ सेल्स माय ईबीटी इज कमिंग 200 लैक्स. ये एग्जैक्ट तो आपको कैलकुलेट करना है सेकेंड पार्ट में, इनकम स्टेटमेंट में, सॉरी थर्ड पार्ट में. यहाँ पे लेट्स से 200 लाख आ रहा है. नाउ can I say now in this case they are asking at what level of sales my EBT will be zero? This is what they have asked. So can I say there is 100% fall in EBT? ये 200 का जीरो हो गया means can I say it is 100% change in EBT? 100% fall. And sales से EBT का स्टडी, सेल्स से EBT का स्टडी, it is all about combined leverage. I hope you understand. I hope you recollect. Sales से EBT का study is nothing but combined leverage का study. So can I say combined leverage is nothing but percentage change in EBT or EPS divided by percentage change in sales. ठीक है? And let's say हमारा इस टेबल में, sorry, combined leverage is given. Combined leverage is 2.8 and percentage change in EBT is 100%. Yes or no? So what is my percentage change in sales? Following. So my percentage change in sales has to be 100 divided by 2.8. 35. Percentage change in sales has to be 35.7143%. Means अगर मेरा EBT मुझे 100% गिराना है तो मुझे ये सेल्स 35.7143% से गिराना होगा. So my revised sales would be 30,000 lakhs minus 35.7143%, which comes to 19,285.71 lakhs. Are you following? So मेरा अगर सेल्स 19,285 lakhs होता है तो my EBT will be zero. Means my sales is just covering till interest cost. Followed everyone? So this was last part was little tricky. So आ गया देखो 19,286. Answer is A. Students, everyone followed? क्या करना था क्वेश्चन 5th में? So in short, it was all about you have to take EBT as zero. EBT zero means fall in EBT of 100%. So sales से EBT का study is combined leverage. So taking the help of combined leverage and applying the formula of combined leverage, you have to find percentage change in sales. ठीक है? Percentage change in sales एक बार मिल गया. So you have to just find the revised sales. Followed? Clear? Students, I guess with this, your operating leverage chapter is thoroughly clear now. Any doubts, any concerns? I hope it this today's lecture added some value in your lives. I hope it was helpful to you all. ठीक है? So thank you students. We will end today's session now. Tech team, you can just. Yes sir. Thank you.